afternoon. My name is Jakub. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of Orbify, a data platform for verifying natural assets. And what I wanted to present you briefly today is a result of our market study, you can call it this way, result of multiple conversations we had with multiple specialists from Earth observation domain, multiple specialists from forest monitoring domain, and also discussions to multiple companies, representatives of companies who are interested in forest monitoring and who are concerned about the impact of EUDR on their business. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. Rather, I would like to walk you through what factors you should consider when defining your own natural assets monitoring stack. If you have any questions, well, please write them in the chat, and I hope that Mutu will be able to bring them to me while I'm presenting. So I would like to go quickly with you through those three aspects. The first is the purpose. Why are you monitoring the forest or any sort of natural assets? And based on this, based on the goal, you can establish what indicators will be relevant for your purpose. And then finally, you can define in what way you can monitor, you can follow those indicators so that it brings you the most value. So without further ado, the use cases. Obviously, elephant in the room, one of the main reasons why we are here, EUDR compliance, right? And we've seen a couple of questions in the chat already. Hey, is it enough just to show a parcel that is totally deforested between the cutoff date? This is one of the things that we may need to prove to be compliant with EUDR. But besides EUDR, there is a couple of other reasons, like environmental social responsibility, like SDG, like reducing emissions due deforestation and degradation of forests and ARR and nature-based solutions. So all of those are bringing different needs to the table. It can be about optimizing operational management. It can be about development assessment, initial assessment of a project area. It can be about evaluation of certain reserve. And this will shape probably what indicators we are interested in, because from indicators from data such as forest cover, above-ground biomass, and et cetera, we can build solutions for nature-based companies for verifying supply chain sustainability, or for the sake of investment and insurance decisions, because this will be about project due diligence. It will be about measuring, reporting, and verifications. It will be about risk assessment, and each one of those is calling for certain metrics to be assessed. I already mentioned those metrics, so quickly let's go through those. So forest cover, obviously this is the most important thing. Whatever you are doing in the area of forest, whether you are preventing deforestation or preventing deforestation, or working on reforestation of certain area, whether you are verifying that you are compliant with EUDR, you will want to see whether certain area is covered with forest, maybe is not covered with forest, and then depending on your needs, you may need to remember about the definition that not every group of trees is a forest, depending on cadence that you are doing. If you are optimizing your operations. If you are an NBS company, then maybe you need more of a shorter cadence. If you are just reporting to authorities, your investors, then maybe longer cadence will be sufficient. Based on those factors, you will be deciding whether, for example, some of the tools that Marketa and Veronika mentioned will be sufficient for you, whether public data is sufficient, or maybe your reserve is in like this one in southern Ecuador, very hilly, very clouded area where Sentinel-2 is really difficult to obtain. Sentinel-2 data are really difficult to obtain due to cloudiness of the region. Sentinel-1 in hilly region, not super reliable as well. So in this case, commercial data may be necessary. And the parameters you will be looking for, probably this is forest gain, forest loss, forest area size. So how many hectares here are deforested, reforested, maintained, lost, and forest to land ratio. Similarly, in the case of above ground biomass, this is information that will be relevant for carbon stock verification or assessment of carbon sequestration in a certain area. Again, we've been seeing that from ESA-USPA, you can obtain climate change initiative data, and I super appreciate this. At the same time, you may want to defer to in-situ measurements, ground truth data, or maybe you will want to do some machine learning-based regression to have even more accurate, even more fine-grained when it comes to temporal resolution data. You will be measuring things like total above-ground biomass amount, like spatial distribution, where we are seeing more taller trees, trees that have more organic carbon inside, and where we are seeing maybe lower concentration of the above ground biomass. This information will be also very important to us when we are verifying the impact of natural disasters. Let's say that there was a wildfire in a reserve, and we want to measure how much organic carbon has been emitted to the atmosphere. Here, in this case, we would be comparing the size of the burned out area with the biomass that was located over there. And this is actually one of the use cases on which we've been working with one of our customers who is maintaining forest reserves in Africa, in quite dry region, that after wildfires they would like to estimate the impact on the above ground biomass that they are storing in their reserves. Tree canopy height. This is another parameter that may be relevant, not only as a way of increasing the precision of biomass estimation, but also in general to better verify and monitor an NBS project. And in this case, well, some of our customers are very much interested in spot measurements in order to not only be able to say, okay, the median canopy height is this or that, but actually in our forest reserves, there are trees that are up to 70 meters tall. Also, an interesting parameter might be for some of us, for some of our customers, is fluctuation over time. So how the trees are growing, how this is changing over multiple years. And with this information, we can also better assess the impact of natural disasters on an ecosystem. Vegetation health. This is super important parameter for those of our companies who are from the NBS space, who would like to ensure that the forest that they are cultivating is not being endangered by pests, by diseases, right? So over there they are observing fluctuations of NDVI, EVI, NDMI, if those acronyms don't tell you much, let's definitely chat after the call, or just ask in the chat. The problem with NDVI is that it is very susceptible for seasonality effects, right? So in the dry season, if there is not enough water, the NDVI will go down. So this is why often we are recommending using SVI, Standardized Vegetation Index, which enables us to compare, okay, this year it is going down, but it's going down every year. So actually the situation is in the norm. You don't need to be concerned about anything. Risk assessment, and this is a parameter that is very much important when you are making a decision, as for example an investment company. Oh, I want to invest in this forest, I want to save forest in this area. This is actually a screenshot from a report that we generated for one of our customers who was asking exactly that question. There is a forest reserve somewhere in, I think it was in Brazil, and I'm interested in understanding whether this is money well spent, right? Whether this forest really is endangered, or maybe it will survive on its own, and I should put my money behind another reserve that may be closer to some sources of threats. Threats can have double origin. This can be natural threats like low humidity, low soil moisture, landslides as well, wildfires, of course, but also this can be anthropogenic threats. This can be the transport infrastructure that we are seeing here developing. This can be agriculture, so new fields appearing, and trees need to be cut to make space for humans to plant food. So risk assessment will guide some of our decisions when it comes to NBS, REDD, but also, and here we are going to one of the questions from the chat. One of the elements of becoming compliant with EUDR is providing risk assessment for your site. So if there is a forest that is, for example, maintained, then you may need to provide risk assessment. Okay, how likely it is that something bad, something unexpected or unwelcome will happen to the forest. Maybe it's a forest in the vicinity, right? You're planting cocoa, but then there is forest close to you, and how your business will impact forest over there. So to answer the question, it's not only to just show my plantation is where there was no forest, but it's also about assessing the environment in your vicinity, in your neighborhood. And well, so far, all of those indicators could be assessed via remote sensing, Earth observation means, and probably this is what brings all of us to this webinar, right? That we are aware that satellites, drones, planes provide those amazing capabilities of assessing forest reserves. But then sometimes when we are generating project definition documents, when we are evaluating an investment, we want to be extra certain about how we estimated the amount of biomass in a reserve, or whether we are properly assessing the forest boundaries. And in these cases, ground truthing becomes really handy. It's expensive, but it gives you this level of certainty. So when you're defining your product stack, you also should take it into consideration whether we want to include ground truthing in situ measurements into our system. If so, in what capacity do we want to make computations based on those two? What sort of data will we include? Will be this only data measurements, how thick is tree trunk, or maybe it will be photo, video documentation. Maybe we'll be taking pictures of the leaves on the trees to better estimate what is the area covered with leaves, how much carbon is stored over there, etc. This concludes the list of all the elements, right? So I don't have much time, and I'm sorry if it was really quick, like a sprint through all of those things you need to take into consideration when defining what your nature assets stack should look like. But I've got something for you if you are overwhelmed a little bit, because instead of building this with some tools that are available for just one purpose, single purpose tools, you can use tools that combine all of this in one place, that abstract you, that shield you from this complexity, that maybe using machine learning, maybe using some other AI methods, decide in case of your reserve, in case of the purpose you're working on, actually these indicators, these methods of measuring, establishing those indicators will be the best for you. And this is what brings me to my next screen, which is Orbify, an app that we created for the webinar. And here, let me quickly upload a KML file. This is Terra do Meio. Okay, let me change the name, Terra do Meio. And over here, our system will analyze what information can be assessed for this reserve, what information can be displayed for this reserve. So for the period of between 1st of January 2021 and 28th of February 2023, what we are seeing, seeing 13,000 hectares of area that is covered with forest in 90%. When it comes to maintained forest area, this is almost 12,000 hectares where we are seeing forest loss, forest gain. I think I don't need to read all these parameters to you. What we are seeing right now is an up-to-date satellite image showing how the reserve looks right now. And let's see where the forest was lost. So with the colors, we can see now maintained, lost, and gained forest areas. So there were some small changes, but nothing more systemic. Let's see how the situation with that biomass is looking like. This is showing us that the forest is pretty dense all over the reserve. There are only certain areas that are showing some signs of issues with biomass concentration. And also here we can observe how different vegetation health indexes are looking like, how the temperature is fluctuating. This is, as you can guess, from temperature and humidity. This is a reserve in Brazil. So this is what we meant by abstracting you from all the complexity. If you are more of a curious user, you can decide what parameters you want to track, overriding suggestions that are made for you, but you can simply rely on the results that we produced for you. So that brings me to the end of my presentation, but I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have.